Okay, everyone, so still on the topic of quadratics. We've been seeing how to solve quadratic equations, and we need to start getting really exposed to the quadratic function, and more specifically the parabola. That's the name of the curve given to quadratic functions. And so to see how all of this works, we're going to be working with the quadratic function we have here. So we have f of x, which equals to x squared plus 4x plus 4x minus 12, yeah? Let me turn that down a bit. There we go, the sound should be better. Now the first thing we need to do here is find the coordinates of the minimum point on this function's curve. Now we're going to be doing this with the TI NSpire entirely, okay? Now on this calculator, just so you're aware, when you press on the home button, everything is organized in two columns. On the left-hand side, you've got the scratchpad, and on the right-hand side, you have documents. Trust me when I say that in this course, so I'm going to take this opportunity, by the way, to give you a proper intro to this calculator. In this IGCSE course, and this will be true at IB as well, you should only ever use documents when doing statistics. Everything else we do, so whether it be algebra, whether it be functions, whether it be trigonometry, everything else you're going to be using your scratchpad, okay? So that's going to be our step one. We're going to create a new scratchpad, and I can do that by clicking on either calculate or graph. It doesn't matter which of the two you start off with. I'll click on calculate, all right? Now, for argument's sake, let's say you have something already typed there, which is quite possible if you've used this calculator before. And so, for instance, I could have 2 plus 2, enter. I've already got something on my screen. In a quiz, a test, but far more importantly, your IGCSE exam, your step one should be to clear the slate. Make sure you're starting with something completely, dare I say, fresh. That's going to be very important for the graphs in particular, okay? To do that, you click on Doc, you move up once, and you should see that option Clear Scratchpad. Get in the habit as soon as you pick up your calculator and you're starting something new to do that. So you click on Enter, that's now swiped clean, okay? Now, I'm about to plot the curve whose equation is given to us by this function, but before doing so, let me insist on the fact that these two pages, you can see in the upper left-hand corner, I can toggle between calculator page and graph page. These two pages are completely connected. So any function I define here on my XY grid, I'll be able to use and work with on my calculator page, and I'll be showing you how. Okay? So first thing, if I go on the graph page, I'm going to go ahead and type that equation. So your variables x, or the x variables at the bottom of your keypad, by the way, in dark gray normally on my calculator. On your calculator, depending on the model you have, it may be a different color. But so that's where you'll find x. So you need x to the power of 2, or x squared, plus 4x minus 12. Once you've typed that, you click on Enter. And by default, you should have something looking like what I see on my screen here, right? Now, hopefully you'll agree that's not great. I can't really work with that. So you need to get in the habit of resizing your window and changing your window settings, okay? What you want to be able to see is, essentially you want to be able to see a parabola, a nice parabola where you can see what it looks like. You can see any minimum point or maximum point if it has one. You need to be able to see it all. So to reshape my window, or to change the settings, before diving in and doing it, I always take a second or two just to look at, I can see that here on the x-axis, if I were to go at, say, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I go up to x equals to 6 in the positives, and I'll stay at roughly negative 10 in the negatives, that should be fine for the x direction. In the y direction, though, I can see I've got to go way further down. So to get us started, I'll somewhat arbitrarily come up with the window settings, which I may adjust after. Don't expect to get the right thing right away. I click on Menu, followed by the fourth option, Window/Zoom. Whoops, there it is. Followed by the first option, Window Settings, and I click on that. Okay. This is where we're going to be entering our minimum x value and our maximum x value. Those are the values you'll see on the XY grid that you end up with on your screen. So for my minimum x value, I'll take negative 10. X max, I said 6. You can make it 7 or even 8. I'll go for 8. My minimum y value, I'm going to very much arbitrarily choose. I'll say something like negative 20. And for my y max, I'll just say something like 10. Okay. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. We'll find out in a second. If you've got a gut feeling right now that we should be going further down, like negative 30, by all means do so. Okay. So here, I'm happy with that for now. I click on OK. Great. That looks pretty decent to me. I can see all the key features that I'm going to need to find with my calculator. Okay. Once we've got that, we're ready to answer the questions that we have listed here. Okay? First thing we need to find are the coordinates of the minimum point. Now the minimum point, hopefully you can appreciate, is somewhere down here. And to find that, as well as to find any point on the curve, we're always going to be following the same path on our calculator. And so I'll walk you through that right now. I click on Menu, followed by the sixth option, Analyze Graph, followed by the second option you can see here, Minimum. And I click on Minimum. And this, when you first see this, may seem a bit confusing. You can see in the lower left-hand corner of the calculator screen, it's asking you for a lower bound. To put things as simply as I can in, dare I say, mathematical language, lower bound means go to the left of the point that you're after. So the point I'm after is this minimum point here. So I can place myself anywhere to the left. I could place myself here, here, here. Doesn't matter so long as I'm to the left of this point. So I'll place myself here and I'll click. So I've clicked in the middle of my trackpad. Notice that now it's asking me for an upper bound. Again, I want to say that's fancy mathematical language to say go to the right of the point that you're after. So go on the right-hand side. And so if I move over or swipe over to the right, you can see that the calculator has picked up on that minimum point. It has coordinates -2, 16. But if I'll click to sort of close the function. I click here, done. My calculator has added a label to that minimum point, which I can move around if needs be. And that minimum point has coordinates -2, -16. So we're now in a position to write down the coordinates of that minimum point, and I'll write them right here, -2, -16. We're good so far? Okay, cool. Now, question B, and this is a very, very important one. Not that the others aren't, but this one is particularly important. Okay? We need to find the solutions to x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals to 0. Now, hopefully you can appreciate that the only difference between this quadratic equation and the functions equation that we've been given is that we've effectively replaced f of x by 0. Right? That's the only difference. F of x on our graph represents the y-coordinates of all the points on the curve. So you can think of this as we're asking, if we solve this equation, we'll be figuring out the values of x at which the y-coordinates are equal to 0. Now, before I dive on my calculator to do that, let me just quickly sort of showcase what I mean by that. And I'll make a very small sketch at the top of the page here, something like this. And I'll say it looks roughly, this is roughly what we're faced with, right? So I've got something like that, x and y. That's my parabola. Great. We just found the minimum point, and I may as well label this as we go along. Minimum point has coordinates -2, -16. And just to be crystal clear, the solutions to this equation are the points along this curve, or I should say the x-coordinates of the points along this curve, at which the y-coordinates are equal to 0. Where are the y-coordinates equal to 0? Can you see any points with the y-coordinate equal to 0 on this curve? Yeah, this one and this one. Those are the only 2 points at which the y-coordinate will equal to 0. You can easily recognize them because if the y-coordinate equals to 0, it means you're on the x-axis. Okay? Now to find these, I think we had seen this last class briefly, we can use the 0 function which is built in our calculator. So again, to find them, I go ahead and click on Menu, followed by Analyze Graph, followed by the first option, 0. So I click on that. I'll start with this 0, the one to the left, and again it's asking me for a lower bound, so I just place myself anywhere to the left-hand side of that 0, and I click. It's now asking me for an upper bound. I hover over anywhere to the right of that point, and I click. I now have that first 0. So I can label that on my sketch here. That's -6. Okay? And of course, I could also write one of the solutions to this equation is x equals to -6. Yeah? I do the same for the second one. Menu, Analyze Graph, 0. So I'm after this one now. Lower bound, I go to the left, I click. Upper bound, I move to the right, and I click. And I now have that second 0. So the second solution here is x equals to 2, which I can label on my graph as well. The next thing, which is the y-intercept. Now the y-intercept is the point at which the curve crosses the y-axis. So hopefully you can appreciate that's this point right here. Okay? So to find that, let me sort of label that right there. That's my y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, what's the key thing to keep in mind when I cross the y-axis? Do you remember? Or I could ask you, what's the x-coordinate on the y-axis, anywhere on the y-axis? If you're anywhere, put your finger on, draw a y-axis and put your finger on it. Yeah. 0. Absolutely. So anywhere on this y-axis, anywhere, if I place my finger on the y-axis, the x-coordinate has to be 0. So to find the y-intercept, all I actually have to do is replace x by 0 in my function's equation. But now on the calculator, there's a really convenient way of doing that. Of course, when it's 0, it's easy, okay? But I'm going to show you that a function that's going to be very useful when we replace x by other values. So on my calculator, I can hover back to the calculator page right here. And when you first do that, you think that those two things are dissociated, but they're not, or rather that they're not linked. I can now call upon the function that we just plotted. Remember, you can see on its label, it's f1 of x. That's what it's called. If I go to the calculator page, I can now call upon f1 of x by clicking on the var button that I have here, which is directly above 9 on your keyboard. If I click on var, you'll see there's only one option, and there's only one option because you swiped the slate clean by doing clear scratchpad, by the way, hence the importance of doing that. If I click on f1, I can now ask it to evaluate this function when x equals to 0 simply by typing 0 here. And I click on enter. Done. That's the y-intercept. So the y-intercept technically has coordinates 0, -12. And on my graph, which I'll be showing you in just a second, the sketch I'm doing in the background here, which you'll be able to watch at a later stage, I would label a little -12 on the y-axis. Now, what we now need is the equation of the axis of symmetry. Okay? Now, if I go back to my calculator, or the graph, I should say, a very important feature of every single parabola out there is that it's symmetrical. And it's symmetrical across a vertical line. That vertical line passes through the vertex. In this case, it's a minimum point. But hopefully, you'll agree that if I were to draw a vertical line passing through that minimum point, one side of the curve would be the mirror image of the other across that line. Now, because that axis of symmetry has to pass through that minimum point, its equation is simply going to be x equals to -2. Right? X equals to -2. And that's a vertical line passing through all the points on the xy grid whose x-coordinate is -2. Okay, and I'm just adding that to my iPad screen for people to be able to see that as well. There we go. And I'll label that. Again, you'll see this in just a minute or two. X equals to -2. Done. Okay, so if you're asked for the axis of symmetry, and let me draw this on the board, okay, very important. Every parabola has one, and it's a very, very, very common question at the IGCSE exam. Okay, pops up a lot. Not worth many points, worth 1 point, but it would be insane to not get that 1 point. So if you've got the minimum point on your parabola, you've already found it with your calculator, you've got the x-coordinate of the minimum, the vertical axis of symmetry is just x equals to that x-coordinate. Done. Now the last thing we have to do here, which I added on the board, let me add it to the iPad here, A, B, C, D, E, we have to evaluate f of 7. So with your calculator, hopefully now you can appreciate that if you just toggle back over to the calculator page, we can directly calculate f of 7 just by calling upon that function again by pressing on the var button. So I call that. I've got f1, I select f1, and I just key in 7. I exit that, and I click on enter. Done. F of 7 is equal to 65. So we can write that here. F of 7 equals to 65. How else could I have done that instead of using that function on the calculator? What would be the other way, dare I say, the longer way? To evaluate f of 7, all I'd have to do is copy this function, but replace every x I have by 7 and calculate what that would be. In fact, maybe I can do that on the side just to convince you of that fact, because if I had to do that without using that built-in function on the calculator, we could calculate f of 7 by doing f of 7 equals to this function in which we replace all of the x's by 7. And that would, of course, just be equal to 7 squared plus 4 times 7 minus 12. That's 49 plus 28 minus 12. That gives us 77 minus 12, which, of course, is equal to 65. So we'd get the same answer. We'd just take a much longer time to get there. Those are the key features I wanted to make sure that you practice with your calculator, because we're going to be using those a lot, okay, up until the winter break. All right, that's it.